Okay, at Cabo, everyone. You are listening to the Òrìṣà Economy podcast, and I am your host, Ori Midar.
And I'm Awolowo Alaje.
And we are bringing you an uncut version, a live version of our podcast this week. And I'm excited today because I'm going to interview my co-host.
Yes. Super
Yes.
excited. Super excited. We had a little bit of technical difficulties getting everything together, but now we're up and running. So if you can share the link to the podcast so others who aren't privy to our internal chat, they can log on.
Yes. I guess somebody didn't want the world to know about your company and all your natural gifts and talents, but we're here now.
We're here now. It'll all work out for the best. That
Yes.
the detractors can't stop us.
No, never. So let me properly introduce you. As you all know, this is my co-host, my god brother, and we're excited about our podcast, the number one and only podcast dedicated to bringing or shining the light on entrepreneurs who are leading in life and entrepreneurship. And that is the case for my brother as well. So we are going to dive into some questions, some Q&A for you so you can give people more of an idea of what it is that you do and the areas that you help to solve people's problems. So Awolowo Alaje helps companies to grow through strategic partnerships, helps companies to optimize ownerships, and you also provide financing options.
Yes, I do.
So y'all need some money. So what does that mean? I know you give businesses access to different capital and resources, and you also, just in a nutshell, you help to solve problems. So can you talk more about what it is that you do?
Definitely. So, helping companies grow through mergers and acquisitions. That's the short, straight to the point version of what it is that I do. So, just in my journey as being an investor, I started thinking about investing when I had found that my wife was going to have our first child. I started thinking about legacy and I started thinking about the future. And in so doing, I landed where I think a lot of people land, which is real estate. And I started investing in real estate. But for some reason, what everybody was telling me that, you invest in real estate and, you get you one house and you're a millionaire tomorrow. It didn't quite work out that way for me. So, I started getting more houses, and then I learned that there was a lot of risk that was inherent in what I was doing. The outlay of cash is a significant amount of cash that you have to use to start up. It just wasn't. Uh, it was too much risk for the reward for me. So one of the people that I had came across early, um, and I was just listening to how they invested and watching them invest. They had MS, and they were a classical violinist. So they said that, MS, it messed with their motor skills, and once it kicked in, they wouldn't be able to be a classic violinist. So he had to create a system that he was able to invest with, that he would at any time be able to hand off to his wife or hand off to his children. So it didn't have to be, a specific skill set that you already possess to be able to step in and do this type of investing. So I started investing in that manner, and then it moved to a point where I was realizing that. So the way he invested was he created funds, right? He would he would pool capital together, then he would use that capital to purchase buildings. So I realized that, there's a lot of risk inherent within managing a fund. You're working with other people's money, and that's, that that gives me heart palpitations, just in and of itself. So that,
Okay.
if you go ahead and you lose that money, that's a problem as well. So um, I started looking for ways to remove that risk. And one of those ways that I found was that you could purchase you could purchase businesses the same way as people purchase real estate. So there's this big thing within real estate of, utilizing no money down. And those same, contracts really, you can use to purchase businesses in. So I moved from the investing of pulling money together, pulling funds together, and then putting those into various assets, to just consulting, right? So showing other people how to set up a fund, showing other people how to invest the pool of money that they were able to collect, and that went from real estate to me investing in businesses in the same way. So I'm essentially a consultant, and I help people to see the assets that they already have. So whether that's an asset of your business that you already have, and you have certain inventory, or you have certain clientele, you can, receive funds for that inventory or for that clientele. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Okay. So I know you mentioned kind of your inspiration for using the real estate model, and how that helped you to use that same model for buying businesses. So when we think about the other side of that, the principles that are divine, the principles that are spiritual, what principles do you use, or do you feel are most supportive in the way you conduct business today?
Yeah, so the it's really interesting because within our tradition, we have Òrìṣà Ajé. So there is a divinity that is specific to prosperity, that is specific to wealth. And within other religions, I don't necessarily see that exact correlation, where wealth is something that is recognized. A lot of times within our community, it's the poor righteous teacher, right? Poor at the beginning, right? And there's a lot of conversation that goes around, money, and how to utilize money. So just really connecting with that energy of Òrìṣà Ajé, connecting with that deity, and just learning more about the deity. So Òrìṣà Ajé is the daughter of Olokun, water. And when we speak about money, there's a lot of correlations with water, currency, and those various things, and the flow of money. So that is one of the main principles that I use, Òrìṣà Ajé, and just learning more about that Òrìṣà, and how I can incorporate that into my everyday business, as well as into my personal life, in terms of how I manage money and how I look at money. So it being a cool energy, so not trying to get into, arguments and things of that nature. And I love the example that our Oluwo Obafemi Oigunwa has given to us about in a bank. When you think about a bank, and if you were in a bank and you walk in a bank and things look disheveled, there's papers all over the pet place, the tellers behind the counter, they're fighting and they're arguing, you're like, not gonna put my money in here, so you want
Absolutely not.
you want to go into a place that's well lit, it's clean, it's organized, kind of peaceful. So those are personal aspects that I try to embody, as well as utilize them in my business as well.
Okay, I love that. So can you share maybe one story of success that you have seen since you started to incorporate, these principles in your business, since you've been a devotee?
Um, yeah, definitely. I'm kind of on the spot right there. I wasn't ready for that question, but but uh, one thing that I do want to talk about is something that I've done recently, and I did it's my Friends for Me challenge. So this challenge was essentially seeing who would invest in you with no questions asked. And I did the challenge, hoping to inspire other entrepreneurs, other people who are even thinking about starting a business, and as well as utilizing my creative financing skills. So as I said, the challenge was to put a post on social media somewhere and letting people know that you wanted to you were asking for a loan. I was asking for a loan of $100, and no questions asked. Send the money here, right? And the reason I was really excited about doing that challenge was I hope to help other entrepreneurs get past that pride. Get past that mental block of I don't want to ask, or who is going to support me, if I do ask for the money and things of that nature. And in business, it's you can hurt your business when you think about what would I do, right? Or I wouldn't do that, or something of that nature, right? So people might say, I'm not on TikTok, right? But if your demographic is on TikTok, you should be making TikTok reels, or whatever they're called, right? So within this challenge, I hope that it can help other entrepreneurs remove that block, remove whatever it is that is stopping them from stepping out and asking. If you have a need within your business, you have to be okay with asking for that need. So the win for me was, like the positive outcome was like, uh my community showed up, right? Like I'm thankful in the way that my community showed up, and I'm thankful for those who did loan $100, as well as those who reached out and were like, I don't have it right now, or some people did ask questions, but I wasn't able to to really answer the question. Like, can I send it later, or something of that nature? I'm thankful for those people as well. And I also want to share that on that, I didn't get a lot of family members, that sent it in. But I say that not as like, to speak bad about my family, right? I say that for the aspiring entrepreneur, to let them know that, hey, a lot of times it's not going to be your family, right? Like, it's not going to be like your friends that you're hanging with every day, right? Like, it will be a stranger that you're serving a need, that they have. It'll be somebody, who may not even know you, but because you're bringing a product or a service to the marketplace that they need, they'll show up, and they'll pay whatever it is, like there are also people who sent more than $100, right? So it's
Right.
those types of things that you know um, I felt is a win, and that I can also, help to encourage others to reach out. And then also on the creative financing piece, that's one way to raise money, and it's not, SEC, the Securities and Exchange the committee. That's who regulates people who sell securities. And when you're raising funds and you're um, putting it into another uh, asset or something like that, is deemed a security. So it's a creative way to raise financing, and just like a little gem for other people, for people to utilize and take away with. Another way to do creative financing with, and I've seen this from another entrepreneur, is that they said that they sent out an email, right, and they said, "Guess who's getting married?" Right, that was the subject line of the email. So right, like, so if you're single out there, and uh, uh, you're mingling, you can send your friends and your family this email, right? Guess who's getting married? First line in the subject of the or in the body of the email was not me, but I am. starting this new business, right? So, I'm looking to raise money, or I'm looking to set up here. So if you know of a maybe a building that's for sale, because I want it in this area, or if you want to support me in terms of my products and my services, this is how you can support me.
I love a good email subject line. That's I was like, oh yeah, that's real good. Yes. Because people are nosy. They gotta
Right,
open the email first of all.
right.
No. But I love that. I love the win that you shared. And I really love that you mentioned that people showed up.
Hmm.
People showed up, and the point that you brought out about family and your family, so to speak, not family, but your family. And your friends too. Sometimes your friends. So I think when we start businesses, we do assume that it's going to be your family, but your family is probably not your target market anyway.
Hmm.
So, your family might support just because they want to see you successful. And then you might have family members who just don't really believe in entrepreneurship. I mean, this
Right.
is a true thing, right? And so you cannot start a business with the, assumption that your family is going to carry you through, because they can't
Yeah.
always buy from you, right? So that's a no.
Right. They
Okay.
it,
Hmm.
they sometimes they're trying to help you, right?
Yeah.
So entrepreneurship is a totally different thing. It's a totally different beast. So if they might be trying to help you, right? Like in terms of, I don't want them to experience failure. So yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna I'm
I'm
not
gonna
gonna
have to kick started and jump started and do a little this or that, or I'll buy this or that. I don't really need that.
right.
But no, it's not sustainable. That's just put in a nutshell. It's not sustainable.
Hmm.
Um, so okay, so we have our podcast, we also have our network. And so as always, we want to know, what would you like to see in the network? And so you have a inside lens on that. So as you and I think about growing this network, what would you like to see?
So I'm a real believer in paperwork. So CPAs, lawyers, um, those type of service providers, I really love to see them within our network, and just supporting our own. Within business, the paperwork is essential. It's super important. So coming up on the end of the year, people talk a lot about tax write-offs or tax offsets and things of that nature. If you don't have your paperwork in order, you're not going to get any of that. Or if you try to force it through, you might get a knock on the door from people with those letters, the IRS and those types of things, and you just don't want to experience that. So the more CPAs, the more bookkeepers, the more lawyers and things of that nature that we can get in our network, and support them. So it's a give and take for me, right? Like, we want them in our network to one, help us, and then also so that we can in turn help them. So the more of them, the better, in my opinion.
I agree. I love paperwork too, and data.
Hmm.
So So tell us, how can we find you? How can we connect with you specifically, if we want to do business with you?
So my website is Awolowo Alaje, AWOLOWOALAJE.com. And yeah, you can just reach out to me on there. There's, you can schedule Calendly with me, and we can discuss how I may be able to help you in terms of creating creative financing, or growing your business through mergers and acquisitions, as well as if you're looking to exit your business. Within the Black community, we may have been aware of the story of the couple that was trying to sell their house, and they weren't getting the number that they wanted. So then they had a white couple list the same house, at the same time, and they got six figures more for the sale. So that's one thing that I really try to champion with our people, of, if we are going to exit our business, yeah, let's talk, so I can make sure that you get top dollar premium.
I love that. Okay. And that's I'm glad you brought that up. I know we're closing out, but making sure business owners, make sure you have a exit plan in place anyway. You definitely should have a plan to exit your business whenever that is, even if it's like a legacy plan. But that's another show.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely when I think about my company is a legacy company. You know, I wanted to
Mhm.
go on for a minimum of 16 generations. At the
I
same time, I built the company with an exit in mind. So everything is in order. And then that goes back to the paperwork. Because if you're gonna sell your business and your paperwork is all crazy, that brings down the valuation.
absolutely. Okay, so this has been a good conversation. So we want to just give an insight, kind of behind the scenes, right, on one of our co-hosts. And please make sure that you all follow us at Orisha Economy on all the social media networks. And if you all want to reach out to us, you can reach out at media@orishaeconomy.com. Those of you who are on YouTube, please subscribe to our show.
Definitely.
All right.
Thank you all for joining.
Thanks. Odabo.
Odabo.